Alrighty, we're live. Hi guys, it's been a week. I was out of town last week, so we weren't able to bring you our expert opinions on everything for a week. So
That's
tough.
weird too, Jesse. Because do you remember approving her PTO and telling her she missed last week?
I'm
I sure
afraid
fucking did.
I don't recall at all. She's just taking vacations
Hey,
left and right
that's
over here.
I believe that
yeah, that's
that
me.
was not a board decision. So that there could be
Listen,
resulting discipline.
it was
Resulted this one.
it was barely a vacation. Um, but yeah, so we are back now, and we'll talk some football. We missed week 9. We want to go. We all redid our rankings for the teams, team rankings. So we'll get to those at the end. But we're gonna swing through some of these games from last week. There's only a couple that are really worth talking about. I know from last week the one that had some repercussions was New Orleans losing to the Panthers, 23-22, and Dennis Allen has been fired because of it. Which isn't surprising.
Fun little fact.
Raider
Both
great Dennis
times.
Allen, don't forget.
Yeah. Dennis Allen, who I'm pretty sure has been fired
What
twice,
the
while
fuck have I
Derek
done
Carr
to you
was
lately
his
to deserve that?
Norv
No, I
Turner.
was just about to say, fun fact, both times Dennis Allen was fired mid-season, his quarterback was Derek Carr.
Oh no.
I wonder what the common denominator is there.
Well, no,
Yeah, I
the,
mean,
the the first time was he was just an ass coach, and we didn't have a very good team. That was pre-2016 Carr. And then, this year you can kind of see what's occurred.
Yeah, it's tough.
I think he's always just been an ass coach. I mean, you can't lose to Bryce Young and expect to keep your job.
Yeah, I mean, especially like you're losing to Brett. Like if it was like Andy Dalton, I mean, maybe he would have got a little bit of a. But even that, like, you can't lose to the Panthers, regardless of who's throwing the ball. But they did by a point.
Well, it's not only that; it's the fact that they started out like 2-0, super hot. Everyone was super excited about how great they looked, and then they just started having injury after injury, and then they just kind of completely fell apart. And now
That
they've
was
lost
another
like
thing.
what 7 straight, I believe. It's either 6 or 7.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I mean,
well, yeah, it was week 9, so yeah, they won the first 2 and have lost ever since.
yeah. So I kind of get it, and I don't really blame him because I never really felt like he was a very good head coach. That was kind of just the Saints' backup plan after Sean Payton, and they just kind of rolled with it.
He's not.
No, he's not. He's not any good at being a football coach, and that's pretty clear. Especially, I think getting Derek Carr back was probably the final nail in the coffin. Not being able to do anything, even because Derek Carr was out with injury for the last few weeks. So getting him back and then also still not being able to do anything, that would be enough for me to say goodbye.
Yeah.
Speaking of some coaches that got fired, not really much to touch on in the game other than the Raiders got a little spanked by the Bengals, but you know what?
Chase just receiving shots left and right here.
Sometimes good comes out of a spanking, and that would
I,
be
I,
that you lost
I
your
come to think
OC.
of it, I didn't miss you guys for the week. Now you've both gotten one apiece, so when I get my shots in later on in the show, I don't want to fucking hear it. But yes,
I'll take
we
them
did
willingly.
get the worst idea that we've had in a while. Luke Getsy, we just went ahead and jettisoned that, and I don't think it's going to be any better because we've got 74-year-old Norv Turner as an offensive assistant, and Scott Turner is now our OC, his son. So that's just
Didn't Norv come out of retirement to do this too?
Yeah,
pretty much.
had to have. What else was
Jesus
we been
Christ.
doing?
Yeah, we also have fucking Marvin Lewis and Tom Coughlin on staff, and now fucking.
I
Norv
mean,
Turner.
dream team, buddy. Listen to that.
Wait, Tom Coughlin's on the Raiders staff? I didn't even know that.
Well, I don't know if he was there at least for training camp. I know there were pictures.
Maybe he's like an advisor or something.
Yeah,
something like that. No, it was kind of cool because of all people, Coughlin, he had like kind of like my style, like bucket hat that I wear, and just sunglasses. And like now that he's old, he kind of looks like a pirate. Like it really fucking.
You're like, yeah, this tracks.
Actually looks like a pirate.
Yeah, this works out. But yeah, the Geritol and Viagra budget that our fucking coaching staff must need has to be through the roof.
Yeah. It's like on that meme that kept going around about the Uncrustables, but it's like the Raiders and their Viagra intake compared to every other team. Where
Yeah, Viagra,
it's a pile of that.
Viagra, ginkgo biloba, and Geritol. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
might be able to remember your erection. You know.
yeah,
Moral of the story: everything's going great with the Raiders. So
yeah. Well, it was,
173 days until the Masters.
yeah, yeah. So aside from that, I mean, I don't think there was any other coaching changes this week that I remember off the top
now
of my head. I don't think
Sirianni's still my coach, so I'm afraid.
so. Sirianni's still there. Doug Peterson has remained even after losing to the Eagles, but frankly, they almost lost that one themselves. Not a great look for them. It was a 22-0 at some point, and almost lost it because of some stupid coaching.
Well, it helps whenever that might have been like the worst officiated game I've ever seen in my life after that fucking touchdown, like defensive touchdown when Saquon was supposedly fumbled the ball, which blatantly was not even close. Like, I have no idea how the hell these refs have their jobs like this week after that shit.
It's bad.
I was so glad we got to spend that time together. The three of us.
I bet you were, because I'm just like, there's no way. And then the second they called it a touchdown, I have no idea how my head is still attached to my body.
Yeah.
I looked at Carly and your sister, and no shit, like they were laughing at me because I don't think my jaw could have gotten any closer to the floor without touching it. Yeah. And you literally, I think it's probably the most athletic you've ever been in your life, because when you jumped off the couch, your head was like this close to hitting the fucking roof.
I fucking believe it. I mean, it was one of the worst things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It was egregiously terrible.
Yeah.
And it's not even, they missed one of the 2-point conversions too. Like, Hurts literally has the ball across the goal line. They're like, nah, he ain't in.
I saw that on Twitter, the angle of it, that he's like very much in, and
yep.
It's nice and all that they automatically review scoring plays, but when you can't challenge them when they're wrong, even after a review, there should be something where, like, if they review it and you still disagree, you throw a challenge flag and New York has to review it and send back the fucking decision.
Well, I'm pretty sure New York is the one that's supposed to be reviewing it when they automatically review it in the first place, I believe.
Yeah. Right.
Dude, I know it's a penalty to challenge a scoring play. I would have done it anyway, just out of pure spite, because it was ridiculous.
Yeah, there was a lot of that around the league this week. I know I saw a lot of horrible officiating going on, just absolutely boneheaded calls that are I mean, we say it every year, but this has to be the worst officiating we've ever seen. Like, it almost feels like we're watching I think you've said before, Jace, like the interim college referees when all the refs were on strike. It's like that's what it feels like we're watching half the time. And every time there's a Monday night game, every fucking play is a flag. It's terrible.
You can always, and there's always going to be like questionable calls. And in truth, like being a referee and like seeing it in real time, it is extremely difficult to get it right when you're at eye level, and the rest of America is sitting on their fucking couches criticizing you.
Yeah, but that's what instant replays for. Like,
that's what the reviews are for.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Let me get through the point here.
I'm too fired up.
My thing is it just seems like this year more so than ever, it's like the constant, like if you ever like a fucking call or a high school basketball game or a football game or something, you'll hear one parent in the stands fucking yell out and be like, "The fuck, we didn't come to see the fucking refs tonight."
Yeah.
And that's what it really feels like. Like Carly said, on the Thursday night games and the Monday night games, it just feels like these guys are pulling their flags out of their pockets. Any excuse they get, just so they can fucking all run together, get in a huddle and go like this and fucking, and then, make a call. Yeah. And then half the time they're making calls and they're not either picking nitpicky shit. Meanwhile, go watch some Max Crosby or TJ Watt tape and they're getting their wallets taken every time they fucking go to rush the quarterback.
Yeah. Well, if you're not in a Chiefs uniform, they won't ignore calls on you.
My power rankings later reflect this.
Okay. Yeah. You both have sent me the power rankings. I haven't looked at anyone's.
I looked at Jace and I have some thoughts.
So, but anyways, a couple other games I wanted to get to from last week, just real quick. Chicago lost to Arizona 29-9. Do we think Caleb Williams is stalling out? I mean, is his progression, is he being figured out?
I think it's probably more like a rookie wall situation. Like it's hard to like sustain like a great deal of success as a rookie quarterback, and it's not like
Yeah.
the Bears are like a super talented team. Like, and I mean, at Arizona on the road, I mean, the Cardinals are. I wouldn't call them a great team. I wouldn't even call them that good of a team. They feel very like average to me. But I
Yeah.
mean, he's not going to show up and be great every week. It's just hard to expect that.
Well, I think the big thing with that game was his fucking Matt Eberflus is god awful.
Yeah, I
And,
don't. Yeah,
the Cardinals are a below average team, but I actually think Jonathan Gannon is coaching them, and he has them, scheme properly, and these guys believe in him. So they're what they lack in talent. They are just sort of like they're a very cohesive unit, is what I see, and I think that's just what it was they just simply got out coached, and this is the ebbs and flows and the rising tides, and everything that you get with a rookie quarterback. You're going to go through these lulls.
Yeah.
I would be
I mean-
surprised if Eberflus is still their coach after the year. I just don't feel like it's a great coach for the development of Caleb Williams personally, but I feel like they should have recognized that this past year, like before the year started.
Yeah, but it's the Bears.
Well, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they are still the Bears.
Wonder what John Fox is up to.
It's a great question.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Arizona is such a weird team. Like, I feel
Yeah.
like they have, like, I don't even
I'm
know
pretty
how
sure
to
they're in
explain
first
them.
place right now in their division.
Yeah, somehow.
It's because all the teams have like the same record.
And something just hit me. Hold on. Because the three of us have, been playing the new Black Ops. Is this the first time Kyler's gotten a win on a double XP weekend on Call of Duty?
I
It
literally
was
picked
double
the
XP
Bears
weekend.
for that reason. Yeah, I can't even believe it.
It was double XP
I
weekend.
think
That is
this
that
is
is
the
true.
groundbreaking sports coverage you get with all the rage. Like,
You might as well
where
just bet
else are you gonna do
Cardinals
that
Super
stat?
Bowl.
Oh,
At this
yeah.
point.
Yeah, if he can make it through a COD release, you never know. There's no telling what he can do.
Yeah, they might go all the way.
Yeah, right. I'm sure.
I'm gonna get on FanDuel right now and bet the Cardinals to win the Super Bowl.
Bet the Cardinals, yep.
There you go. Yeah, screw it. Yeah, they beat Caleb Williams and the Bears. Super Bowl bound.
Yeah, if you get on FanDuel and bet $5 on the Arizona Cardinals right now, you'll lose $5.
Yeah, pretty much. So the other game I had here was just the Lions beating Green Bay 24-14. That's honestly more to talk about the Lions. I think the Lions are clearly the NFC front runner. They look great. They added what is it? Who was it? Tre'Davious White? Was it them that added him?
No, I don't think so.
Who did they add? They
Who did
added
the
somebody.
Lions add?
Yeah.
Zadarius Smith.
Oh, Zadarius
Zadarius
White. Yeah, there it is. Yeah. Yeah, no, they added him, so I feel like
He's
kinda
basically
making
what
up.
they're just hoping that they can get some production out of him in the absence of Aiden Hutchinson. But I feel like Zadarius Smith's definitely probably past his prime at this point.
yeah. Well, probably.
Yeah, but sometimes that's what an old goat like him needs. Is he's in the twilight of his career. He knows his better days are behind him, and now he's on a fucking wagon.
Well, yeah,
All
he'll be in a
right,
good situation. He'll probably do better because of his
I
situation.
really might only have it's like the Toby Keith song. It's like I ain't as good as I once was, but I can I'll pull something out of my ass for half of a season and give you guys what I got.
Right.
Yep. I think that was the best pass rusher that was really available to make a trade by the sounds of things. So
For the price, yeah.
yeah, 'cause no one was going to give up like 2-1s for some of these like big names. So
Yeah.
I love the memes, especially with the election. It was like this just in: Michigan's been called, and it was like Kamala 3%, Trump 6%, Dan Campbell 91%.
Yeah, I saw that. That was a good one.
fucking might as well have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I'll bet you got some write-in votes.
He
I'm
probably
sure he
did.
did.
I'm surprised.
About the equivalent of voting Green Tea Party, but that's a different discussion.
Yeah, green tea.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how
Fuck 'em.
serious I take the Green Party.
Yeah, that's about as serious as anybody takes it.
So yeah, I mean, Detroit beat Green Bay. I don't think this was really a shocker to anyone, but there are a lot of people that still think Green Bay is pretty good. I think Jordan Love has some stuff to work on. He needs to do a little bit better job of taking care of the ball. I'm pretty sure it's him, Baker Mayfield, and Patrick Mahomes all tied for first place in interceptions with 9.
I think Love's been
Sorry.
dealing with some injuries too.
Yeah, I was about to say. I feel like
Yeah.
it was just a terrible spot for the Packers. Like he got hurt the week prior. I just didn't expect much from them this week.
Yeah.
It was probably a stretch that he even played at all, but he was probably like, "Well, it's the Lions, so I need to play." So who knows how healthy he really was. But yeah, I mean, the Lions are a buzzsaw right now. They're just murdering everybody.
Yeah, I mean,
For
and
now, at least.
they aren't looking back either. They are
Yeah, they're playing
Pretty
good enough now that they're not having to worry about Campbell
screwing
doing
them
his
over.
usual thing.
And,
And
yeah.
I can't even call him a stupid coach because I know it's not stupidity. He's just such a fucking like in the trenches guy that he's like,
Yeah.
you boys want to go for it? Let's, even though like his assistants are screaming in his ear like, no,
No,
stop.
don't
Yeah,
do it.
well, he lacks self-control. That's the problem,
Yeah.
and I worry whenever they're in like a competitive game how he's going to lose it for them.
Yeah, it's very much like Brandon Staley. Brandon Staley was stupid. He was very
I
dumb.
think-
That was not confidence. That was just sheer fucking stupidity.
Mm-hmm.
Dan Campbell is confidence to the point where there's a line where like here's confidence, and then you're so confident you're fucking dumb, and he's like right here. He's very. I'm on the edge.
Yeah.
Very
Very much. And then the only other one I really had to talk about from last week was the Bucks losing in overtime to Kansas City, 30-24. One of the things we missed because we were out was that D-Hop was added to the Chiefs, and he seems to be a good addition for them.
Yeah, what do you know? It looks like he can play football still now that he doesn't have Will Levis throwing him the football.
Yeah, weird how that works out, right? Yeah, so that's gonna be lovely for him. How great of the Titans to
Yeah,
bolster
Yeah, really. Fuck you,
Chiefs.
Titans. Are you kidding me?
I saw something earlier. I think it was Ian Hartitz on Twitter, X, whatever. Was like, it's crazy to me that nobody's yelling at the fucking Titans for letting Derrick Henry walk for nothing to the Ravens. They just let the fucking Chiefs have D-Hop as a free agent. And he's like, but yet everybody's on Twitter being like, boo, the Giants let the Eagles have Saquon, boo.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know. It's
Like, fuck the
ridiculous.
Titans.
The Derrick Henry thing was more of a they know that their team is ass, and they're just kind of like doing right by the player by like getting him out of a bad situation. So people don't really give them as much shit for that.
Yeah, I know, but and everybody knows that Baltimore will probably fall apart when the lights are brightest. As they
Oh
do.
well, of course, as they always do. So
But yeah, but for the D-Hop thing, fuck
do.
them. Fuck them sideways.
yeah, that's completely their fault for sure. It's like, what did they get for him that's actually going to help them that much? I don't even
Yeah,
remember what
I
it
mean,
was,
they're
but I'm sure
literally
it wasn't
just
much.
tossing
Well,
him out to the wind.
Titans just wanted something because obviously they're so far below the Chiefs that it's like these guys. It's a foregone conclusion if we play them, they can play their backups and they'd still win. So
For sure. Yep.
sure, we'll let you have this guy who might be a future Hall of Famer, possibly fringe, or at least he's a really solid career player for a ham sandwich.
Yeah, for a ham sandwich. Yeah, I don't really know that there's a ton to really talk about that. The only shitty thing with that game is the Bucks losing in overtime is just a painful reminder that the league needs to fix overtime rules in the regular season. It's completely bonkers and ridiculous that they changed it so both teams get a fucking possession in the playoffs because the playoffs matter, but apparently the regular season doesn't matter as much because they didn't do that for the regular season, and I think it's all just completely ridiculous, personally.
Yeah, if you want to know how bad it is, just watch Baker Mayfield's fucking reaction when the Chiefs
Yeah.
won the coin toss. He's just like, great, we're fucked. We might as well go home. because we don't get a chance.
He knew.
And he was right.
Real quick, I just got an alert on my phone. Breaking news. Dak is out for 4 weeks, and I don't know what this word means, but he suffered a partial avulsion of his right hamstring.
Well, it doesn't sound great.
Doesn't sound great at all. Did they put him on IR?
I don't think that's a good thing. Do they have to put him on IR?
Well, 4 weeks.
4 weeks
you would
is
think
IR like minimum, so they're wasting a roster spot if they don't put him on IR.
Well, that's the Cowboys
Well,
for you.
well,
I wouldn't be
Jerry
surprised.
Jones is like,
they might have put him on IR, but it just said he's out at least 4 weeks. It didn't specify.
good timing for me.
Yeah, it works out for you.
Speaking
You
of
never
good timing,
should I never say works out for me.
Speaking of good and bad timing, one of the things about next week's upcoming games is Pittsburgh is playing the Commanders, who just traded for Marshawn Lattimore. So really great. Hopefully he's on a snap count and isn't playing the whole game against us. But
I don't think he's like that big of a like difference maker at this point to be like, holy shit, their defense is going to be great, because their defense is one of the worst defenses in football. That's why they traded for him.
Yeah.
But I mean, how old is he at this point? I'm not really sure. Marshawn Lattimore. I'd have to look.
I think that's another thing. Like get your co-host out of here, Jesse. We're not paying anybody else an extra salary.
He's 28.
Believe me, I am trying.
Yeah.
He is
28. 28's not that old. Jesus
No,
Christ.
I didn't know
He
how
does
old he
seem
was. I
a
just
lot.
said that he was older.
He does seem like he would be a lot older than that.
Yeah.
No, I think that's a really good
No, it's a good trade, yeah. I was surprised that the Saints did it.
Yeah, I think that really helps him quite a bit. I think he's got plenty of juice left in the tank. And I think the Commanders they're a force to be reckoned with. And that's one of those acquisitions that you look at that are made late in the year that you look back on, it's like that was a fucking big difference maker. Or it might not amount to shit, but we'll find out.
Well, this is pretty much the beginning of Pittsburgh's gauntlet. Steelers play them this week. We play the Ravens next week. We play the Browns the week after that. Bengals, Browns, Eagles, Chiefs. It's great. And then Bengals again at the end of the year.
You sound excited.
This is the start of figuring out if the Steelers are actually good this year, or if it's all a ruse. I think I think it's going to be a really good game. If there's a game that I think will be a good game, I think this is one that will be a decent game. I don't think Washington's defense is that great. I mean, they've obviously making additions.
They've played the Giants twice.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Right. And
you know what I thought? Sorry, go ahead, Carly.
No, you go ahead.
I just random thought I had the other day while I was watching the Saints game. How pissed do you think Chase Young is that he got traded from Washington, is now a Saint, and then he's now literally the Squidward meme where he's like sitting in his house while SpongeBob and Patrick are running around having fun outside.
Yeah, literally. That's exactly what it is. We had Bria in the chat said avulsion means to completely tear off.
So if he suffered a partial avulsion, that means he partially tore his hamstring off of the
It feels like it'd be less painful if you just like had the entire thing torn off, because I can imagine it just being partially torn, then you like bump it the wrong way.
Well, but the thing is, if they're saying it's a partial avulsion, then that means, because I think it's attached to your like bones.
Yeah.
So that it didn't even tear; it just like tore away from like where it's supposed to be on your leg. Oh, that doesn't sound nice.
No,
it does not.
I will hard pass on having to deal with that ever in life.
I don't know that he's going to come back, because if they just go 0-4, why they bring him back?
Why would you when something like that happened to him? I mean, the Cowboys are a lost season like this.
Yeah, they're 3-5. If they lose their next 4 games, they're 3-9. There's just no point in activating them at that point.
No, you may as well. If you're paying them that much money, you may as well just save them.
Just take the.
Can I just point out that we have All the Rage has an official Brazil correspondent, and now we have like our own like.
Oh yeah, we do have
injury
injury expert.
We've got our own doctor.
Bria did go to school for this. That's true.
Yeah, to let us know that.
Yeah, she said his hamstring would have torn off his bone a little bit. Yeah, that's no good. I imagine for them that, like, what's the point in even bringing him back? Then again, the Cowboys are horrifically mismanaged, so it's hard to say. They did give a 4th-round pick for Jonathan Mingo,
Good old Jerry,
which
GM of the year.
continuously not okay. So I saw something the other day. They've given 4th-round picks for Jonathan Mingo, and last year they gave a 4th-round pick for Trey Lance, who is not even their backup.
I was gonna say he's not even fucking playing.
Cooper Rush is their backup.
I won't be surprised if we see him at some point though, because why not?
I mean, I get that Jerry Jones is the owner, but like he's got to get to a point where like you gotta hang it up, because I mean this is
It's
bad.
fantastic, honestly. I mean,
I just
love
that
to see
when
it.
they used the fucking Moneyball meme with fucking Jonah Hill, and it was like, look, this is Jonathan Mingo, Jerry. He wasn't that good in college. He's the 5th receiver on a terrible team. But the problem is, you told your fans you were getting a wide receiver, and Carolina knows you've been drinking today.
Yeah, literally.
The problem is he's terrible, and they know you've had a couple drinks today.
Ooh, on the Dak injury, Bria said sometimes it'll even take a piece of bone with it.
Good.
Ugh. Yeah, hard pass on having to deal with that.
It sounds like more than 4 weeks to me. I can't believe
Yeah.
they're even.
Hilarious if they don't just put him on IR. I mean, let's be honest. It just
Well,
if they don't just put him on IR at that point,
that would be
just
the most
wasting their own time.
Cowboys thing ever to do, because they're now basically, I don't know how much of his contract is guaranteed, but they would
A lot of
basically
it.
just do the Deshaun Watson shuffle here, where oh, I'm just constantly hurt now, but you have to pay me. So
Yeah, no, they are an absolute disaster. But yeah, so anyway, that was started talking about the Pittsburgh and Washington game. The lines on that earlier today when I looked, Washington was -3, but they're now -2.5. So the lines are the betting is going on Pittsburgh right now, to move it that way. The over/under is 45.5. Which is funny to me, and because the over/under being 45.5 is funny to me because Cincinnati and Baltimore, who collectively scored like 100 points last week, their over/under is 40. So somehow
that makes no
Vegas has
fucking sense.
decided that Cincy and Baltimore are going to score less points than Pittsburgh and Washington. And they also have Baltimore at a 6.5 point spread. So kind of interesting there. I mean,
Baltimore and Cincy's, it's an AFC North game, so that'll be, it'll be 10-7 at half.
Yeah, well, yeah, for sure.
You would think.
So yeah, I can see the Commanders and Steelers game being pretty interesting and being pretty high scoring.
Yeah, I think that'll be a good game. That is one I'm definitely excited to watch. Unfortunately, it's just a little 1 o'clock game. I was kind of hoping that we'd get flexed into the night game, but
you've had too many Sunday night games already.
We have had so many. We've had like 3 or 4 primetime games already, and we have another one on Thanksgiving. So we're not getting primetimed in, but they did instead decide to move Detroit and Houston into that slot, or not Detroit and Houston. This was for week 11.
Yeah, it'd be a damn shame to flex a Steeler game into prime time and then have an hour-and-a-half thunderstorm delay.
Yeah,
fucking terrible.
Kill me. Anyways, so yeah, that I think is the most probably one of the better games of next week.
I think the Texans and Lions would be good if Nico Collins plays. If he doesn't play, then it probably won't be as good.
Yep, Texans and Lions was the other one I had written down here, aside from Cincy and Baltimore. Those 3 games.
I'm taking the Texans just solely alone. Did you see those alternate unis they're wearing?
Yeah, they do have the all red.
They're like bright red, like the helmets are like a red metallic. You'll have to. I'll send you. I'll put the picture in the group chat when we're done with this. It's fucking sick. Like, it's pretty nasty.
Yeah.
Well, you sold me that. I'm taking the Texans.
All right. See, great mind.
That's all it takes.
Yeah. So the money line or the spread on that is Detroit -3.5, and the total over under is 49 on that game. So
I guess the argument for the Texans though is that it's prime time. They're at home. The Lions have literally been on like a tear. Like they're due for a letdown like game against like a non-familiar opponent. It's like an AFC opponent. Like it'll probably be a pretty good game, and the Texans could definitely pull it off if they're healthy enough.
right.
Like if they just trot Tank Dell out there, it ain't happening.
Yeah.
Nico Collins has to play.
Otherwise, forget it.
Yeah.
But the red unis though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
there he is.
Excited to look at 'em.
those are looking pretty good. I was just gonna see if I could find a picture of those. Show here. Texans uniforms red. There we go. Let's see here. I believe it is these. So that's the helmets. Get out of here. I think this is the
Those helmets are so dirty.
new one here. Yeah, this helmet is pretty sick.
Yeah, I actually like that.
Let me find it. Okay, so this is what
I actually
we're looking
kind of
at.
wish the helmet was black and then the symbol was red, but
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that would be.
Yeah, but no, looking good. Yeah, so those are really the only interesting games I think next week. I mean, Philadelphia plays the Cowboys, but obviously the Cowboys are a shit show, so that's not. It would typically be a game to talk about, but not really.
I'm sure they'll make it more interesting than it should be.
I don't want to go back to it, but it just hit me. You know what those Texans uniforms are? You know the fucking remake they made of The Longest Yard, and
I was thinking the same thing.
those are the Mean Machine away uniforms.
They really are. They fucking are. Like,
As soon as I
I
saw
just
the-
see Adam Sandler
Yeah.
in it right now. Like,
Yeah, as soon as they should Tank Dell with that like black number 3 right in the middle of his chest, I'm like, that's just their away uniform.
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah, so other thing I had listed here was just talk about some of the trades that happened. We already kind of hit on Marshawn Lattimore and Mingo going for a 4th to Dallas for some reason. The only other there was a few throughout the day, nothing too crazy. Pittsburgh finally made some moves. We got a wide receiver. It was Mike Williams,
That's the
but
one
we
everyone
got
wanted,
one.
right?
We got one. We have another body that should be capable of catching a football. So
Ask Aaron Rodgers how much he likes Mike
It's-
Williams.
well, see, my argument for that is that he isn't in he's not one of Aaron Rodgers' plastics. He can't sit with them. You know what I mean?
Right. You have to be from Green Bay. Almost.
Literally, and I feel like that's part of the argument. He's
Was
coming
that
off an ACL.
You just dropped a Mean Girls reference in the middle of this
Yeah.
podcast.
Well, I mean that's how we're speaking about Aaron Rodgers.
I'm just
You're
confused as to why you know that's a Mean Girls reference, Chase.
I was in a lot of girls' sleepovers when I was in high school
Okay.
and stuff. All right, I had to.
Yeah,
I had to
well,
suffer
I-
through the Mean Girls.
but that's
Yeah,
how it is.
well,
I mean,
yeah,
that's
you
what
just-
it is with Aaron Rodgers, though.
You
It's
hear the quotes, it just kind of just seeps into your brain, just like
Mean Girls is a
yeah.
classic. Yeah, but that's just kind of how it is with Aaron Rodgers, though. He's very much a "you can't sit with us" type of person because he pretty much pushes everybody off the team that he doesn't personally care for. He's done a great
It's
job.
okay
of
though.
that
They
so far.
won last week finally, so everything's
Yeah.
good.
I'm
They're
sure
good.
they're great. Yeah,
They're gonna run the
totally
table.
totally going to the
Yeah.
Super Bowl now.
Actually, just bet the Jets they're making the playoffs because I mean it's a lock.
Somehow, yeah.
Yeah,
No,
Mike
but
Williams, he's pretty talented. Like the years that he was with the Chargers, he would have those just like it seemed like every time he'd have like a big game, he'd have like 7 catches, 150 yards
Yeah.
or something, and then it'd be like the asterisk was like left game on the cart. You
yeah,
know, or
right.
a torn ACL or something. Like the guy, he's talented. He's just got to stay healthy.
yeah,
Yeah, that's the biggest thing with him. Like he's always been super talented, but it's just like every year he has something. Like I remember watching him in Clemson, and I'm like, holy fuck, I want the Eagles to draft him so badly because he was just catching everything. But it really hasn't worked out as well as anticipated for the Chargers when they drafted him. So
Yeah,
I mean,
I think health's the issue for him. It's not the talent. It's like Carly said. It's just a fact of if you're not, in Rodgers' little fucking ayahuasca clique, and you don't sit in a dark closet and jack each other off, you're not going to get the ball.
I don't really think, I don't put much stock into what he did with the Jets this year. I don't think it's really worth looking at. I mean, it's Aaron Rodgers isn't going to throw the ball to somebody who he hasn't had a sleepover with.
I would like to know what his contract was with the Jets, because I think he was a free agent this past year, because he was just on the Chargers last year. He got hurt again, didn't play the rest of the season, and then the Jets must have given him probably a pretty small contract if they were willing to trade him already.
Yeah, we are taking on the rest of it. Let's see. Even with let me see. The financial impact of the Steelers trading for Mike Williams. The Jets wrapped most of the 2024 money that Williams was scheduled to earn into a signing bonus. So he pretty much got the money that he's supposed to be paid this year. We're taking on the rest of it, but even the $1.7 million per game roster bonus that he was scheduled to earn were rolled into a signing bonus. As the result of that, Williams will be earning a base salary of $1.2 million in 2024 from the Steelers.
Gotcha. So basically free.
Yeah, pretty much free. Gives us a body. If I feel like we're far into the season this year. He had the ACL last year, and I just think that this year's
I'll do it for you.
I'm curious to see how it works out. I mean, obviously
I wouldn't expect much from him this week because it's too soon.
No, I don't expect much from him this week.
Now, the Preston Smith trade, I actually think that was like that could low key be like I was talking earlier about. You look back on a season where I'm not saying the Steelers, they look good and they're going to make a good playoff run at this stage, I think. But that's one of those things where you can look back and be like, to the untrained eye and somebody who's maybe not as like savvy as we are, where it's like, oh, he's old, he's washed up, go play alongside T.J. Watt and Cam Hayward and have, I mean, the Packers have a pretty good defense, but the Steelers are on another level, and he could just take it up to another notch.
Yeah,
I'm envisioning like, hey, not to sound like your brother, and in 2004, James Farrier, but it's very much reminiscent of
we'd be here for another hour.
And James Harrison.
Yeah.
In my mind, where you put TJ on one side and you have a guy he's a little bit older, he's not as fast, and he's not as talented, and you still have Alex Highsmith too. So.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy. Our defensive line is T.J. Watt, Alex Highsmith, Cam Hayward, Nick Herbig, Keanu Benton, and Preston Smith. Which is
pretty good.
Pretty fucking. It probably has to be. I mean, it's probably best in the league.
I guess the one question you have to ask yourself is why is Green Bay trading him whenever they're like arguably a contending team for the playoffs also?
Well, I did actually see that. I saw earlier. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah. Preston Smith said a few weeks ago he requested a trade out of Green Bay. So it was kind of him requesting the trade because he didn't feel comfortable in their new 4-3 scheme. So now he's going to a 3-4 where he played in most of his career. He feels comfortable and he likes the scheme of the Steelers. So he kind of wanted to move to a 3-4 over the 4-3.
At least there was a logical explanation for it. I wasn't sure if he was just buried on their depth chart or maybe he just wasn't playing well or what. But
nope, he had 3 sacks this year so far. I mean, he hasn't been completely useless or anything. But
that's a perfect explanation, and that's one of those things where you hear that and like as a football fan, my ears perk up a little bit where it's like, ooh, he's only got 3 sacks this year. But he was playing in a scheme that didn't really fit him, and now, I mean, the Packers are very much a playoff team and a contender too. But you're going to a team where I would argue the Steelers are probably slightly better, and then now all of a sudden it's like, ooh, I get slotted into a system and a scheme that I am comfortable in.
And you don't have to be the guy there. There's other players around him. It's going to take all the pressure off of him. So
the offensive lines are going to have a lot of other people to put their eyes on outside of him. So that's part of it. I think that was a great trade, and we got him for like a 7th, I think. So he was practically free. Can't complain about that, and we needed a little depth in the position anyway, so excited to see how he does. Not sure where when like what his like snap percentage and shit's gonna be this week, but it's definitely a good pickup for like a playoff run, stuff like that. We'll definitely be appreciating that. But yeah, let me see. I think that was the only other one I had listed as on trade deadline was the Cincinnati got Khalil Herbert, which is probably going to help them because ever since they lost Joe Mixon, they seem completely like they miss their run game.
I think a
So-
lot of it has to do with maybe Zach Moss
And
getting
Zach
hurt
Moss is
because he was their
hurt, too,
pass
yeah.
catching running back for the most part, and that's kind of what Khalil Herbert's always been. So I still feel like it's going to be like the Chase Brown show, but they don't really have like a running back that can do it all. That's why they like use two running backs a lot of the time.
Right.
So I feel like it's a lot better of a situation for Khalil Herbert instead of being buried on the Bears behind Swift and
Yeah.
Roshan Johnson and whoever else they have.
Right. Totally agree. T. Higgins is hurt again by the looks of it. I'm kind of starting to wonder if he's ouch my toe. I'm
I
gonna be
know
a
it
free
does seem
agent
a little
next
bit.
year.
He played like a couple games, lit it up every game, and now he's just hurt again, like out
Yeah.
of nowhere. I'm like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah,
Well, and also when he
he's
was lighting
not
it
gonna
up,
be a Bengal next year. That's just
No. Well, they
fact,
should have
so.
traded him then and gotten
Yeah.
a fucking asset
Right.
for them, but they're the Bengals, so.
yeah, he was lighting it up when they were losing, and now
Yeah.
he was like, "Oh yeah, now I'm banged up, and it'll be interesting if he's going to, pull the Devontae Adams where his hamstring was bugging him for a couple weeks, and all of a sudden he
Yeah.
flies to New York and it's all better."
Yeah.
Be like, "Oh, the Bengals are winning again. Oh my, that toe's fine." I'm
You see,
all
I get that thinking, but I feel like him playing well this season is more beneficial to him getting a long-term deal with another
Right.
team. Like, I just feel like not being in the public eye is not really helping him.
The
He's gonna
game
just
tape
get the
you've already
injury
got
prone.
on the game tape you've already got on him. Somebody's going to fucking back up the Brinks truck and pay buku fucking dollars for him just because.
I just worried, like, if he, like, him being a number one and not having like an elite receiver on the other side, is he still going to be as productive? I'm not sure because you're going to look good playing next to Jamar Chase. So
Yeah. Yeah, most people would. Yeah, I don't know. I keep seeing that. I swear, like every other week, it's like, oh, T. Higgins is hurt again, and I'm just like, well, he's planning on not being a Bengal next year, so I'm kind of starting to wonder with every other week this coming up. I mean, maybe he just doesn't want to play as many snaps this year. I mean, he could just be saying, oh yeah, my toe hurts this week, and then next week I'll play a
I'm
game.
pretty sure
and
all of
then-
his injuries have been like something different too.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, you also don't want everybody to think that you're just, full of injuries before you go
Well,
sign
everyone
somewhere else,
already
so-
does think that, though. That's the problem, which is why I feel like him sitting out is not helping him.
Yeah.
Because he missed time last year. I'm sure he missed time the year before. Like, it's a consistent trend at this point.
Right.
Yeah, it'll be the difference between 5 years, 60 million, and 5 years, 55 million.
And again, who knows? They just pay receivers whatever they want these days. So he'll probably be like Justin Jefferson money or something ridiculous.
He'll be a Kansas City Chief.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Actually, don't be
right.
surprised. I wouldn't be surprised.
If that happens, I actually might just watch curling or bowling or something next fall.
I mean, I argue why we're not doing that already, but
Not a bad idea. Maybe we should start a podcast.
just stop watching football like right now and just move on.
You're an Eagles fan. You want to stop watching football every week.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I'm not like I don't know that I actually enjoy watching the Eagles play. It's more of a fucking nuisance than it is of anything else.
I'm not having fun. I can tell you that. I'm not enjoying myself.
I know you're not.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I had a couple little crazy weird stats before we get to our rankings, and we'll go over those real quick before we get off here. But one of the weird stats was talking about the the trade, something that hasn't happened in a long time. Every team still owns their number one draft pick for next year. It's the first time since 2001.
I think you just got to give the
Wow.
Rams credit now because normally
Yeah.
they're like, fuck them draft picks.
Fuck them draft picks. Send them out.
Yeah, either that or Sean McVay is like, just give him away for somebody.
Yeah.
Don't worry, he's gonna
Right.
find a way to get rid of that first round pick. Don't you worry.
Yeah, he's
There's
gonna
time.
read that stat and just be like, I don't even want somebody, but I gotta find a way.
I gotta find something. God.
Yeah. Wild. This is the first time since 2001 that's happened.
Yeah, but I mean, think about.
I
What
wonder if
can happen in
it'll.
the
I wonder
offseason.
if it'll stay that
Right.
way. is
I
the
don't
thing.
think it
we
will.
shall see.
Because someone will move up to the first pick or something, and then all their picks will be gone. So
Yeah. One of the other weird stats that I had, this was 5 days ago, so this was before this week, but I know it's not wildly different at this point. So this 5 days ago, before this week, the Lions had 25 touchdowns over the last 5 games, and Jared Goff has only thrown 20 incompletions. So they have 5 more touchdowns than Jared Goff has incompletions over the last 5
pretty crazy.
games.
I will argue. I'm not sure how much they really throw the football. I feel like they're just running it down everyone's throat every game.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah, when you just literally when your playbook is okay, we're gonna hand it off to Jahmyr Gibbs or Monty, and we're gonna run it off Penei Sewell, and then we'll get a first down. We're gonna get 6 yards, and then we'll get a first down on the next play.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Rinse and
so
repeat, and then we'll just. I just love to. They just every week. I think they're like getting on Backyard Football or something and just looking up the trick plays and just going off of that list. Like at some point, they're going to call Hocus Pocus, and Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to actually disappear at the fucking 30-yard line and reappear on the other side of midfield.
Yeah.
good chance.
Like the
All
laterals, the fucking flea flickers, everything. I'm like, I'm all here for this. I love this shit.
They're very fun to watch for sure. As long as you're not playing them. So
Yeah, as long as you're not playing
Yeah.
them. As long as I don't have to play them,
Fuck
they're great.
that.
I hear that.
get them in cold weather. I will see how good they are. But
And
Yeah.
it's so crazy to say that too, because you think in your logical brain for a second, you're like, well, they play in Detroit. It's a dome.
it's a dome. And they
should be a
don't play
hardy
like
people up
outside
there.
at all this year either. They're predominantly inside because a lot of the teams in their division have domes. Well, the Vikings have a dome. They have a dome.
Hmm.
I
A
would
lot of their
argue
away
that
games have been a dome.
their style of play is perfectly suited for like a cold weather. Like
It
bad
is. The
weather.
problem is that Goff has never been a very good on the road in the cold type of quarterback. Like if you make Goff have to win the game, I think it's going to be a different story.
Fuck it.
Yeah.
They could be like Army and Navy, just hand it off 67 times in the game. And
I mean,
fine.
yeah, if you're picking up enough yards, but if eventually a team's going to stop the run and then they're going to force him to have to beat them, whether or not he can, we'll see.
Yeah.
Well, just let Amon-Ra throw the ball.
Well, yeah, fuck
Yeah,
it. Might as
He
well.
does that from time to time,
Dan
too.
Campbell will be fucking fake putting it on 4th and 15 anyway, so.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Amon-Ra to fucking Penei Sewell to take him to the Super Bowl.
Yep. All right. So let
Actually,
me
pin that
get-
because if that's how the NFC Championship ends, I want credit for it. Trick
All
play,
right.
and they let Penei Sewell report as tackle eligible.
And score a touchdown. Yep. That'll only happen whenever you bet all their tight ends, so don't forget.
I don't want to
Yeah,
talk
you know
about
that's right.
that. Fucking Brock Wright.
Oh, no.
All right. Let's see here. Trying to get where I can show our picks, but everything is messing. Okay, here we go. Our rankings. I will just start with mine. These are my rankings. I know
1 and 5 in order.
I know
two
it says
teams.
1 through 5. I messed it up, but I already took the screenshot. I mean the next 5 in order would just probably be 1 through 5 for me.
I can't believe you have the 49ers that high.
Only because they're getting CMC back, and I feel like Brock Purdy needs him. So as soon as
I mean,
comes
he
back,
does, but
he'll be fine.
I don't know. I think they're cooked. But
I would say, I mean, the thing is that it hurts me to put Kansas City up that high, but they do have the record for it. So
Sure do.
I just don't. They're just not good. I don't think
They're not good.
I just don't think they're that good. I mean, now that they have D-Hop, they look a little different, but they may be a little better on the back half of the season. But Patrick Mahomes is playing like shit. Really,
Well,
I
he
would put
is,
them
but-
below the Bills right now. Probably, like if it weren't
Yes.
for their record, I would put them below the Bills.
Yes.
Unfortunately, though, I personally have worries that it's just going to be. I have worries that it's going to be an undefeated season
No.
for them.
They will lose to like the Broncos or something because a division game, like randomly out of nowhere, that's the team that'll beat them.
True.
Hello. Hi.
Jason is. I mean,
I
Denver
sure
beat
hope
them
so.
last year, so
Right.
so did the Raiders.
Yeah, I don't
lose.
think anything else in
Already
here is too
told.
crazy.
Other than
Having the
Washington
fucking-
being
Yeah, Washington down there. Are you on drugs?
I'd
You have
probably.
them-
I mean,
You have them with the fucking Jets.
I have them
And
4
the
spots
Bears.
ahead of the Jets and 6 spots ahead of the Bears. I mean, you have to separate people out somehow.
Oh,
I don't-
So
do you
you're-
think
you're- okay, so
Washington-
yours
Do you
yours
think
are
Washington
actually,
is
like,
better
in
than the
order.
Falcons?
You're not just
Yes,
putting
I
them
do.
in like tiers.
Okay, so of the people that are ahead, I'm doing mine is by tiers, and each one from left to right is the rank.
okay, mine's not like that, but
So that's how I did mine.
Mine's not either, but you
So-
have Washington behind the Bengals, the Buccaneers.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I mean,
Bengals-
Washington
and the
stomped the
Falcons.
Bengals already, but
Well, yeah, but I think the Bengals are getting to form now, which is unfortunate. But I mean, they've already lost enough games that I don't, as a divisional opponent, don't exactly
I was gonna
worry.
say, I
about
mean,
them,
they
but-
did play the Raiders last week. No offense.
That is
but-
true. Anybody could throw 5 touchdowns on the Raiders.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
you know.
No,
Doesn't
I mean,
mean you have to fucking say it while I'm
Well,
sitting
whenever
here.
she's talking up the Bengals, I gotta find some common sense reason as to why they look good.
yeah, that's fair.
Find something else.
Okay,
Everything
my
else,
mistake.
like- I mean, yeah, I think
Hurts
that
my
the
feelings.
Falcons are decent this year. There is a
I feel,
I should have Washington in the B tier behind the Falcons as opposed to in the C tier in front, because there is a large cliff between the B and C tier on this list. I think Chargers are starting to get it together and look a little bit better. Rams are firing on all cylinders
They're
now that
sneaky. They could
everybody's
go
back.
on
Yeah,
a win
yeah.
streak now that they're
Rams
healthy.
are
Although I
Rams
didn't
are-
love how close they played with the Seahawks last week. I feel like they should have kind of ran over them a little bit more.
yeah. Well, especially because the Seahawks weren't playing well at all.
Yeah,
so-
and DK Metcalf hasn't been playing. And...
But yeah, this is generally
I mean, I think
Generally
it
how I
might be a
feel.
little too high on the Falcons. Like they have a good record, but they feel just very fraudulent to me.
Yeah.
Like they're winning a lot
Fair.
of. They're kind of like the Vikings a couple years
Yeah.
ago when they won all them
Yeah.
one-score games.
Yeah, that is kind of what they're doing. Yeah, they're
The
they're
Rams and the
making it
Bucs
happen.
being
But
better than Washington is just unfathomable. I can't. That's inexcusable.
what? Oh,
The
the
Rams
Bengals and the Bucks. Oh, the Rams and the Bucks.
The Rams and the Falcons and the Bucks being better than Washington.
Oh, the Rams are better than Washington right now.
I don't know. I don't know that they are.
I think the Rams have
I mean, I
a
hope
little
that you're
bit of
right
defense,
that they are,
but I don't know. Well, got the most controversial one out of the way first, right?
Well,
It
maybe
sounds
not.
like it, but I don't know that because I've got some stuff to say about Jace's too.
All right, this is Jesse's.
Do you have
Oh.
to say things to say about my picks or my categories?
Both. Both. Finally a list that makes sense.
Wow, you have Washington way up there. See,
I
I
sure
had a
do.
hard time with the Vikings.
I don't have them in
Um,
order. Like I don't really have anything
yeah.
in order though.
I had a hard time with the Vikings trying to figure out like where to slot them in at because
Yeah,
I
they're tough
kind of
for
feel
me
like
too.
they're frauds. I don't know.
And I feel that way also, but I'm like looking at all my playoff bubble teams and like how many of these teams are actually better than the Vikings? I don't know.
Right.
And yeah, I get that the 49ers, could they get back to relevancy? Yes, but I don't know. I need to see it first.
Right.
Well, McCaffrey's going to give him a big boost, but we'll see. We'll see just exactly what kind of game shape he's in.
That asking him to come back and be himself after all this missed time might be a lot to ask.
Well, he is CMC. I have full expectation that it'll look exactly like you would expect. And then I'll be surprised if he's not.
Or he'll get hurt again in the first game, and then they'll be screwed.
The see you next year is pretty funny because I feel like the Browns are like see you next decade.
No, I was just about to say the same thing. Like, just drop the Cowboys, the Jags, and the Saints down into garbage.
To garbage.
Yeah.
This list is probably pretty damn good, actually.
Yeah.
I might have given the Jags and Saints a little bit too much credit, but I just feel like when I watch the Giants, Panthers, Patriots, and Titans, I'm like, why? Why am I watching this? So.
Yeah.
Can't really argue anything.
Yeah, I don't really have too much to argue with here either. Yeah, I mean the Seahawks, the Colts are an interesting team.
Well, they got Flacco back.
They do.
I mean, Flacco's in there,
played
so they have
like
a chance.
garbage last week. So.
Playoff bubbles, like a very vague, like that could mean,
Right.
They're not a guarantee to make it.
Right.
Yeah,
They're just relevant.
We're only on to week 10. So
So it's basically like anybody below the playoff bubble is completely dead and irrelevant. Everything above it is still alive. And then, like I said, the playoff locks, barring injury, I feel pretty confident.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, it'll be an interesting thing. And then, top 4 seems right.
That is my order though. For the top 4, I put them in order.
Yeah. Okay.
Carly, you wait till you see my Super Bowl contenders, my top 4. You're gonna fall out of your fucking chair.
Oh, I fucking saw it. Why do you think I have shit to say?
Oh, holy shit! Russell Wilson coming in for his second ring? Second ring? He only has one, right?
Correct.
Third
appearance.
Oh yeah,
third
appearance.
To the Patriots.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because they threw it at the one instead of handing it to
The refs will get them there one way or another, and ain't that the truth?
The Chiefs are not a good team, but they just keep winning because the fucking Zebras keep them in it. So
it doesn't matter; they'll be there.
Yes, Super Bowl contenders. The refs will get them there one way or the other. Playoff teams on the bubble, mega ass, and was Jerry Jones Kamala's campaign manager.
It would appear that way because both were horribly fucking run.
I'll tell you what. The only 2 organizations you can compare to each other being more shittily ran in the last 6 months has been the Democratic Party and the
DNC and the Dallas Cowboys.
Don't fucking remind me.
Share blue.
Yeah, I love ass and mega ass. That's great.
Yeah. Well, that's my see you next year and garbage is basically that equivalent.
Right. Yeah, we were thinking similarly on naming these little categories here.
But no, I was really thinking about it. I know I have 3 NFC teams. The Bills just have such a hard time getting past the Chiefs, and the Chiefs they've got a golden horseshoe in their ass, and they've got the refs on their side badly this year, and everybody sees it. The team that I could really see giving them a bloody nose and giving them a really fucking hard time for some reason is I just picture Pittsburgh going there and being the one team where it's like, oh, it's just slightly colder than it is in Pittsburgh in fucking January. Is this supposed to be bad?
Yeah. Bills have a great record of choking in the playoffs anyway, so.
Well, that's the problem is that all the AFC teams minus the Chiefs also never go in. You're not going to feel confident in any of those teams to actually beat the Chiefs because they never do it.
Right. Yeah. And unfortunately, fortunately or unfortunately, the Steelers play the Chiefs on Christmas. So that being in close conjunction to playoff time could end up being a plus or a minus that we will have just played them.
I can tell you that the Chiefs aren't very good on Christmas either.
Oh yeah, you guys did stomp on them on Christmas.
That game is in Pittsburgh, I believe. So.
Yes, it is in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Indeed.
I will actually.
I have half a mind to buy tickets to it. They're not that bad.
I don't even know if I'm going to say this on camera. But if you guys beat the Chiefs on Christmas Day and I get to see that shot of Taylor Swift and Mahomes' wife crying again, I might actually let you guys get a picture of me waving a terrible towel.
Nice.
Just that
Okay.
one time.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll hold you to that.
Well, that tells you how much
That would be a
I've
great
hated
Christmas present for me.
I have hated the Steelers my entire life. That tells you that if that is my olive branch that I can give to you, that is how badly I hate the fucking Chiefs more.
Yeah.
It's hard
Yeah,
to not be
well-
at that point. Yeah.
On
Yeah.
the plus side, the thing is that I mean, you know, I feel like Steelers and Chiefs, like we're gonna play them here at the end of the year. I think if the Steelers hold it together and we keep improving and playing better every week, we will make a decent playoff run. And Super Bowl that'd be great. I would love that. Love to see it. But
I think you can't.
problem is if we go to the Super Bowl, we're not beating the Lions. I don't think. But
No. That's the thing is I think this is the first time in recent memory that I can remember where the NFC almost seems stronger than the AFC.
Yeah, and
Like,
it's
At
it's
least
always
for
more
now.
like
By the time
decisive.
playoff time, it might feel different.
It's more decisive.
It
Like
might.
the NFC is usually the one that's there's like
More
four
teams.
teams that could very well make a run for the Super Bowl, and right now it feels like it's the Lions, and like there's a couple other ones that have a chance, but like it is the first time in a long time with the NFC that you actually feel like, wow, the Lions are pretty much probably gonna be it.
Me and the other co-host here have been Jaden Daniels truthers from the start, and I don't think now with Lattimore, I think they are not going to go quietly into the night, and they're going to be a team to watch out for. But I know we're getting short on time here, but please, Mr. Co-host, sir, I really want to know what your critiques of my list are. Please let me have it.
I think you're way too high on Washington. I get the point. They're exciting. They're definitely good.
I that is very much their ceiling, and just what I will admit I am very much like on the Jaden Daniels hype train at the moment. So I will admit that that's a little bit being excited, but
I think
like you can say playoff contender, but I'm not Super Bowl. Like I would be stunned if they made the Super Bowl.
I think for Washington, go ahead.
We'll call it, okay, NFC Championship game contender. Is that a little bit better? Like I could see them making
even
that.
I would say more divisional at best, but it really just depends on who they run into because the seeding.
Yeah. All right, yeah. No, I'll admit that was more of just like a hype.
Yeah, but and then
I think with Washington too, that the reality is that it maybe it isn't this year, but I think very much the Jaden Daniels window is open.
Oh, it's wide.
So
he stays at knock on wood. He stays.
I was gonna say
healthy.
barring the injury thing.
Yeah.
The RG3. All right, what else? I gotta hear it.
Sam Darnold being a Super Bowl contender is absolutely laughable. There's no
you are such a Sam Darnold.
There's literally no way. Like you saw what happened to the Vikings when they played a good team. They got rolled.
He had one bad game.
They got rolled.
One bad game, and you're right.
That Lions game that they played, that shouldn't have even been that close. And then the Rams literally had like all their guys back from fucking IR. First game they played in a month, and they basically dominated the game against the Vikings. So I just don't think they're a serious team.
I think they'll bounce back. That was just, every team goes through a hiccup here and there.
Well, but unfortunately for them, they play in the same division as the Lions. So
yeah, they probably go to the playoffs if they can win a few more games.
Well, yeah, they'll be a 5, 6, or 7. So yeah, well, there goes
that.
There goes me because his fucking cat won't stay the fuck down. But
well, see, the cat's also telling you, hey, Sam Darnold's for real, and shut the hell up and quit being a hater.
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Cat.
And then I also just don't think there's any way in hell the Steelers are going to get past like the Chiefs or the Ravens or the Bills in the playoffs. Personally, I think that's way too high.
I think we get past the Bills.
The reason the Bills that nobody can get past the fucking Chiefs is you can't beat them and the Zebras.
Yeah, right.
But
well,
I think that
that's the problem. Is like
if you just think of the
team,
if you think of the team compared to the Steelers team, I think we beat the Chiefs. but the Chiefs shit just happens. I don't know. They like sacrifice babies before their games or something. I don't know.
I don't know what
Yeah,
it is
well,
either.
Andy
No
Reid's
idea.
eating children or something, I think. But
Yeah, I have no
um,
idea.
no, it's like the Christmas game last year was a perfect example. If you can just neutralize Kelsey, I mean, you have Xavier Worthy to worry about now and D Hop. But if you can get Mahomes flustered and just get him running around, it really doesn't matter the coverage downfield because he will start panicking and he will start just like flushing himself out of the pocket a la Kenny Pickett. And if there's one team that can really do that and has like the ability to aggressively pass rush him, either whether it's with the blitz or just going, one on one and just, rush 3, rush 4 and still be able to get home, it's Pittsburgh. And I think
Sure.
that's the key to beating the Chiefs.
Definitely. The biggest thing with the Chiefs that scares me is just how good they are at stopping the run, though. Like when nobody can run on them right now, and whenever you become so one-dimensional like that, it just makes the rest of their defense so
We
fucking
will
much better.
unleash Cordero Patterson upon them.
Wouldn't get
Your best
hopes
running
up.
back.
Your best running back.
Hey, he's coming back. I think after the bye, he's back, so we'll get to see a little bit more of him.
From where?
I mean,
Florida?
yeah, we're going to see a little bit more of him. I mean, with the few games he played at the beginning of the year, he looked great. But Najee has been outperforming his expectation of this year wildly. He's been doing great. He looks like shit the first 2 weeks, and these last few weeks he's looked like the Najee of his rookie year. He's been looking great. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, with the Steelers, I think. I'm biased when it comes to the Ravens because I know
Obviously.
watching Steelers Ravens games that we usually split with them, but Lamar Jackson always plays like shit against us. He literally is like 1-6 against us. He's lost to
That's
Duck
fair.
Hodges and Mason Rudolph, and he's just terrible against us. I don't know if our
Well,
defense just has his
well,
number
well.
or what, but
It's pretty easy to lose against a fucking elite quarterback like Duck
Hodges, baby.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, you just can't overcome that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's 1-6 against us. So, or 1-7.
Yeah.
So, yeah, his stats are terrible. He always throws picks. We always strip him. It's always a shit show for him. We usually split because they manage to get out when we play them at their house, but they don't necessarily I personally have a hard time worrying about meeting them in the playoffs a ton.
Oh no, I get if you meet them in the playoffs, the Raven fans are going to be fucking terrified because the last team they want to play is a division team in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So,
but the last thing on that, I'll be interested to see how great Jaden Daniels looks against a competent defense. Finally, he's not sitting back there with all day to throw against the fucking Giants and all these garbage teams that he's played all year. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's I'm looking forward to that game of all the games this week for sure. It'll be a good one. Probably the only one really worth watching, other than I guess Thursday night with also AFC North divisional.
Right.
Okay, so my list was pretty okay. Can we at least applaud my bottom category there?
Yeah, no, that's great. Fantastic. Yeah.
Golf clap a little bit.
Yeah.
Too soon. It's only been a day.
Jonathan Mingo.
I'm sorry.
All right, guys.
Yeah, Jonathan Mingo, vice president.
All right, guys. Well, I have to get out of here. We will come back to this in a few more weeks and see what it's looking like. I'm even down in a few weeks here. What do you say, 4 weeks? We'll do week 14, 15. Start doing some playoff brackets and see how
maybe even
things are
sooner
shaping
than
up.
that.
And yeah, we could probably do here in a couple weeks. Start doing.
I'd say after Thanksgiving when you start worrying about playoff shit. So
yeah. Yep. Yeah. After that, we'll do a little bit of playoff bracketing and see how that goes. We'll review it every week, change it every week, and then lock them in on the last week of the season and see who does the best on their predictions. So
it will be me.
Yeah.
Judging by your Super Bowl contenders, I'm not so sure, but we shall see.
Yeah.
You know what?
I appreciate your enthusiasm about the Steelers going to the Super Bowl. That'd be great.
Yeah, really. Look what you're doing to Carly right now.
Yeah.
I'm telling you what the eye test is telling me. So.
All right.
Alrighty, y'all. Well, we will be back here next week. Shouldn't have any issues with scheduling. I don't plan on going anywhere for a while, so
Jason,
will
I'll be
see
here
you
next week. Like,
guys-
well, Carly's gone
no
again.
PTO rewarded through the end of the year.
Yeah.
Ray John.
yeah. All right, I'm out of here, and I am gonna go. So I'll talk to you guys another time, and we'll see you guys next week.